Hi everyone, welcome to the Two Minds Drink Alike podcast, proudly sponsored by Titanic Distillers. So I'm Emily and this is Jack, and together we came to put this podcast together, and we wanted it to be all about hospitality, the community around hospitality, cocktails of course, and much more funny little stories. So we're just going to start by introducing ourselves a little bit. So I'm Emily. I've worked in hospitality now for 8 years. I started off my first job in like a very small hotel, and just starting off doing like breakfast and waitressing, and then I started to see everyone work the bar, and I was like, I really want to do that, but I wasn't 18, so I had to wait to my turn, and then eventually got working in the nightclub there. And I was in school as well, doing my GCSEs, and I was like, I really want to move to Belfast and work there instead. And then I started working in a bar called Babel. I'm sure if you're from Belfast, you'll know of it. It's a really, really good cocktail bar. And I met loads of friends there, and that's where I really wanted to pursue my career in cocktails. So very kindly, Babel learned me everything I know about cocktails and about working the bar, because I had no experience rather than working in a nightclub. And then from there, I was wanted to take the next step, and my manager there pushed me to go work in Birch Jazz Bar, which is where I really found brand work and competitions, and I done my first ever competition. And then I was like, okay, I've done the cocktail side of things, so maybe I should try the management part. So I done a supervisor job in Blank Restaurant, which gave me a little bit more of the fine dining, slower service, so a little bit more time to be creative, and that was great. And then I went to the Merchant Cocktail Bar as supervisor, and then over time worked my way to manager there, which was really good. And I done World Class Ireland when I was there too. Won that competition, and then I was like, what do I do next? So yeah, that's kind of my little story, and then I'll let Jack tell his.
So my name is Jack. I started hospitality when I was 17, and my first job was a glass collector in the Crown Plaza Hotel. Being a glass collector taught me a lot of things, most importantly that I loved the trade that I was going into. 6 months later, I got my first ever contract, which was a 40-hour contract as a bartender. And putting smiles on people's faces in the bar was amazing, and that's what kind of drove me on to kind of stay in the industry.
Definitely not by the cocktails we were making back then. He showed me photos of his cocktails, and I wouldn't drink them.
Yeah, so the cocktails at the time, I thought they were great. I thought they were amazing. After 4 years in the Crown Plaza, I finished off there as supervisor, and I wanted to learn more about cocktails, and I kept hearing about this place, the Merchant Hotel. That's where I kind of wanted to be. So I applied for it. I walked in and says, I want to be a bartender here. He says, what do you know? I says, I know it all. So I kind of went in very confident into the Merchant Hotel, and I was very humbled when I walked through the doors and told to go and polish a glass. So going from supervisor down to the glass polisher again was very humbling, but it taught me a lot. It taught me that there's a lot more to just serving drinks and throwing them out and having fun. There was a real delicacy to this industry. So the 3 years I spent in the Merchant taught me a lot. I started polishing glasses, got on the floor. When I got on the floor, I was a real people's person.
Spent far too long standing at a table, and I was like, come on.
Yeah, it was more the chatter than the actual worker. But the guests loved to see me come through the door. I guess the workers didn't at the start. But then I looked over across the bar and I asked, could I make a drink on the bar? And I was taught a lot about it. I was taught a lot about classic cocktails and how to build a cocktail balance that. Moving on 3 years, I met Emily in the cocktail bar as well.
We'll get to that. I'll tell the story.
So yeah, 3 years on, I left, and we have now started Liquid Minds together.
I love telling this story because I actually think it's really funny. But me and Jack obviously met each other working in the cocktail bar, and when I first met Jack, I was like, oh, if he just tried a little bit harder, he could be so good.
She's seen something in me.
And I was like, if we work really hard together, we can get you somewhere for sure. And then that's fine. We were working together. It was good. And
no,
then
it wasn't good.
Well, Jack didn't necessarily like me, but
No.
it was going in the right direction.
Anytime I turned around, Emily was on my ankles. I was like, what is going on? Where are you? So, yeah.
Well, it worked well, so. But anyway, and that was fine. I was like, we can really push him. Like, if we got really into cocktails, like, he'd be really good at competitions. Like, he speaks quite well, is quite confident. And then that was fine. And then Jack asked me out on a date, and I was like, I don't know how that's going to work, but okay, let's go. And Jack's first ever date, he brought me to the beach, and he made like a charcuterie board, brought a bottle of wine, and it was all romantic. And then he was like, "Oh, I need to go back to the car and get something." And then he went back to the car, locked himself out of the car, and then there was no date. We were just locked out of the car, went back to Jack's mum's, and I met his whole family on the first date. And there wasn't really a first date.
Smashing the window. I had to smash the window to get into my car, to get the keys. So we're driving up the motorway with like no window in the back seat. Emily got out in my mum's house. I gave her the Hoover and she cleaned it, which was a very nice moment.
And then whenever I went back to work, there was like, everyone could just tell there was something a little bit suspicious. So everyone was asking like, "Oh, like, are you injecting each other?" And I was like, no, definitely not. But then it got a little bit too obvious, like, and we ended up telling everyone that was fine. Like, everyone was happy for us. And Jack actually moved in with me on our very first date. So he moved fully into my house after the first date. And then we became really close, like both obviously outside of work, but inside of work as well. Like, we were always kind of trying to elevate the cocktail menu, and I was always pushing Jack to practice a bit more, and then eventually he got into competitions, and he done the Campari Red Sands competition, and then we just kept practicing, and he done the Sweps Born Irish competition too, which I was really proud of him for. But unfortunately at the time I couldn't actually be there because I was practicing for World Class, which was like a couple of weeks away. So the competition that he did win, I actually wasn't there to see it. But yeah, so then we still worked in the merchant for quite a while. Like, I was really enjoying it there. I love managing it. And then it kind of got to the point where I was like, I really want to work during the daytime, and I want to try and do my own thing. Everyone kept saying to me, like, you've been doing brand work for so long, like, you should try doing it as a business. And I was like, okay, what better person than to do it with? So I was like, okay, we can do this. We'll do it together. Yeah. We both got jobs in cafes, which I actually really love.
Yeah.
And now we do the cocktail consulting business together.
And it is a lot nicer now having our own kind of thing during the day and coming in to do the business together.
And we both have very different personalities. So Jack's like the one who can like get everything, and he drives everywhere and comes up with the ideas, and I'm like the planner, and I'm very like, I like to be the person creating like the drinks. Obviously Jack does too.
The thing is about me and Emily is we're two different people, and when we got together people couldn't put it together, because I think I showed Emily the fun side of life where Emily showed me the serious side. So she really
like
matured me up. Yeah, she matured me up. And I showed her how to have a bit of fun as well, of course. So I think that's very good.
But there's a lot of hard parts during it too, because obviously we're working together. Sometimes our shifts would be like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we could both be working at that time, and then we'd be coming home, obviously same house, waking up, no one's cleaning the house, no one's doing the dishes, we just go straight back to work again. And this was especially hard when I did enter World Class, and it did take up a lot of my time. So it meant I wasn't really in the house much. I was always travelling down to Dublin or like practicing. And everyone always asked me like, "Oh my God, it must have been so fun." And it was really, really fun, but it was also a lot of hard work and a lot of traveling. So like I was in Dublin for like a week, and then I traveled to Shanghai for 2.5 weeks. And that's where I done the full competition. And I was like ringing Jack every night. I was like, I want to come home. Like, it's really enjoyable, but like I was just terrified that I was like in the other side of the world by myself. So yeah, I guess over time we just got closer and closer, and we were like, we can do something together. And what we do with Liquid Minds is essentially we do brand work, like social media work, and we'll do like consulting for like big events, or maybe it's for like a brand's website. And then we kind of wanted to do this podcast just to be able to. People always asking us like what we're doing. Sounds like we may as well use the platform, talk about what we do, and talk about all the different people we've met. And we want to get the people we've met over time onto the podcast.
We want to invite
to
you
talk
guys
about
in.
to talk about like, for example, we've met loads of hotel owners who are like super cool, and like sometimes you just wouldn't even know that they own a hotel, and we want to get them on to talk about how we met.
Yeah. We want to talk about like highlight those small places that people don't actually know about that are hidden gems around Belfast, Ireland, wherever. There's a lot of those coming up at the minute. So
as much as the podcast will be, like some episodes will be about cocktails and some might be about distilleries, we very much want the podcast to be like a community thing and get on other bartenders from bars, bar owners, restaurant owners, chefs, like you name it,
anything,
like a little hub for Belfast. So yeah, Jack's going to talk us through a little cocktail. During each episode, we'll be making a fun little cocktail that you can also try and make at home, and all kind of ingredients that you can buy or quite easily make.
So yes, today, thank you very much for Titanic Distillery for sponsoring this podcast today, and we're going to use the 5-year-old pot still. What we're going to come across with is Liquid Minds love using Irish local kind of ingredients, and something that I love so much is Football Special by McDade's. Childhood memories, everything about it. So yeah, I think these are going to pair very well. And just to kind of come together with that is a date and cinnamon balsamic vinegar. Balsamic? Yeah?
Balsamic, yeah.
Balsamic, that's the one. So yeah, we're going to make a cocktail here and then talk about it after.
I really love McDade's because whenever I was going to China, they sponsored me and they were able to give me, like, obviously everyone loves the Irish, so they were able to give me loads of like Football Special socks, posters. I brought loads of like different sodas over, and like it was a really good talking point because I was able to tell everyone about how like they used to get delivered to your front door, and like everyone always loves hearing a wee bit of Irish story.
Yeah.
And then Burn Balsamics as well is like someone that I've always kind of worked with. It was one of my most like popular cocktails in the Merchant was their strawberry vinegar in like a Scorpino style cocktail. So for me, this is something you can like buy these ingredients and make it at home, and it'll still be a little bit complex and a little bit different, but again, a little bit easy to make. Yeah. So Jack's going to go on ahead and make that for us.
Shaker?
You don't need a shaker, just build it.
Oh, it's a Belgian? I thought we were shaking this. So also, you want to start off with some ice?
We're going to make two.
Oh, do you want one as well?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, start off with a bit of ice. And then you want to come across with some of the pot still. We're going to use 30ml, just obviously as it's a pot still. And
it's nice and spicy.
It's a Sunday evening. So just going to add some spicy notes to this drink.
So just a little bar spoon of this, because obviously balsamic vinegar is quite strong. But this one's flavoured with loads of things. It's flavoured with like sesame, cinnamon, dates. So it kind of has like a molasses kind of flavour to it as well. But it just helps balance the cocktail because obviously Football Special is quite sweet, but we love it. So we're going to use
it. No ball opener. There we go.
And then we're just going to garnish it off with some mint and a little bit of orange as well. And if you squeeze the orange in, it'll be even nicer.
We're going to look pretty for the camera. So you're going to squeeze your orange then, Emily?
Mm-hmm. It's a very rare occasion where Jack makes me a drink.
Exactly.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Did you give it a mix? Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
So just make sure to give it a big mix in, just so it tastes good.
That mix mine?
Yeah. Delicious.
What do you think? You like it?
Love it. Love it. You get like a little tiny hint of the cinnamon, which goes really nice with the Football Special. Not too boozy either. So yeah. So if you try and make it at home, we got the Burn Balsamics from Sawyer's. And where'd you get McDade's from?
McDade's, I got it. What do you call it shop in Lisbon?
Arcadia. It's like a wee niche shop on Lisbon Road, but you can also now get Football Special in Lidl, which is fun.
Lidl or Lidl?
Lidl.
Lidl?
But yeah. So
it's lovely.
nice, yeah.
It's really good.
Little funny story. So one of the first times Jack came over to my house, I was like,
Emily says a little funny story because I know what's coming.
Sounds like I'm just making fun of you, but it is funny. So I was like, right, well, you came over to my house for the first time. You know, this time I was like really, really into like really niche cocktails, and I was like practicing for competitions, and I was like, right, okay, let's have a cocktail competition in the house just to like.
No, I'll tell this story because you're gonna
Go for it. Go for it.
So we says let's have a cocktail off in the house. I open our fridge. Only thing that I could see, what was it? Tequila, barbecue sauce, red sauce. What else did you have? A couple of packets of ham, whatever else. I was like, what on earth can I make with this? So the only thing that I thought would go, I don't know why, it was the barbecue sauce. So I just made a standard margarita, big squirt of barbecue sauce, shook it up, strained it, even got a nice wee rim on it as well. And then this just shows the type of bartender Emily is. She doesn't think inside; she thinks outside. So the first
you do not. This was a long time ago. Don't.
But at the start, I just thought inside. So she was like, "Are you done?" And I was like, "Yeah." So then she.
No. What was the garnish?
What was the garnish?
Fajita seasoning. You know the seasoning that you like do for like mint and chicken.
Yeah.
This is the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted.
So she was laughing, and I was like, "So what are you actually going to do with yours? Are you going to put ham in it or something?" And she just opens the door, and she has all these plants at the front garden, and she picks a little bit of pineapple leaf, smells it, and I'm going, "Oh my god, this is out of my league." So that's whenever I really.
And mine was delicious. It was like vodka with like lemon, sugar, loads of pineapple and mint. So yeah.
And mine's is definitely unforgettable, let's say. No?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's it for episode 1. Thank you very much for watching. Episode 2 is going to be about why work in hospitality. We want to talk about all the benefits to it, and also a couple of people have met along the way, and our plans for the podcast going forward. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to say bye.
Bye.